Welcome everybody. This is American Literature Part 2, English 2132 for summer 2020. And in this video I'm going to go through the syllabus and the basic layout of the course. This should be the first video for you for this course for this summer. There's going to be a separate video where I go through the course assignments and the grading and all kinds of details like that. In this video, I'm just going to try to go through all of the basic information for the course and answer any questions that I can think of that you all might have. I'm sure I'm going to forget something because I don't have you guys in front of me to ask questions and remind me of things I forgot, but I'm just going to cover everything I can think of, all the basics that I can remember, and then you can be in touch with me and ask me any questions that you have about any of it, anything I forget, anything that you think of. So let's jump in. You can see the basic course format in D2L. Hopefully all of you are familiar with D2L. If you're not, be in touch with me, and if you're struggling with it, be in touch and we'll figure out whatever you need to know about D2L. I will use D2L to share information with you, to share announcements, to share content. However, you will turn in your work to me. I don't use D2L email. You will turn your work in to me using Highland's Outlook email, your at student.highlands.edu email, and I'll get through that. I'll get into that in just a second. But all of the course is laid out in D2L for you. Everything that you need to know and every announcement that you need, you should check D2L at least 2 or 3 times a week on Mondays and Wednesdays to see where we're at, to access your content, your course videos, and those kinds of things. The first piece that I want to go through here, if you go into content, you will see here there's a need help section, which is the first thing and should answer any basic questions that you have. But the next thing is syllabus and exams. The syllabus is already in here, and as we take the 3 exams for this course, I will drop them in here and make them available to you. You click on syllabus and exams, you go to syllabus summer 2020, and this is the screen that you should get. Let me get this as big as I can here for you. If you don't know me, if you haven't had me before, my name is Jake Sullins. You're free to, when you reach out to me, call me Sullins, Professor, whatever's comfortable for you. Nothing's going to bother me. My office, I use the humanities office on the Cartersville campus, and I have an office on Marietta. We're probably not going to be able to do that since everything's online this summer. But my virtual office hours, if you need to talk to me outside of the classroom, outside of Zoom sessions, those things like that, are before and after class. Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 11 and 1:30 to 2:30. Before this class was moved online, it was scheduled for the typical summer session of Monday and Wednesday, 11:15 to 1:50, which is the standard middle summer block, midday summer block. And when we meet on Zoom, I'm going to abide by those old times. When we have Zoom sessions, they will start right at 11 or right around 11, and they'll go as long as we need them to go. If they last 30 minutes, that's fine. If they last 90 minutes, that's fine. It's hard for me to see that happening, but I want to be as accessible as I can to y'all. At the same time, a lot of the content for this class is going to be asynchronous, and what I mean by that is it's going to be in short bits and pieces course videos that you'll have access to, and I'll show you that in just a second. The prerequisites for this class, you have to have taken English 1101 and 1102, made a C or better in each of those. This class is a survey of American literature from the mid-19th century, roughly around the Civil War, to the present, right now, paying particular attention to historical and cultural influences. One of the things we will talk a good bit about is historical and cultural influences. This class covers 3 main literary, historical, and cultural periods. Realism, which goes from in the United States, goes from the Civil War till around World War I, so you're talking the 1860s to the 19-teens. And then modernism, which goes from the 19-teens to the 1940s, 1950s in the United States, after World War II. And then postmodernism, which is after World War II, 1940s, early 1950s, and scholars are arguing even now if it's over, if we're still living in late postmodernism, if we're living in some third section of postmodernism, or if postmodernism is over and we're living in something else and we just don't know it yet. We'll use those as big umbrellas to talk about a good bit of the stuff we're going to talk about. We will consider questions of American identity. We'll talk about some aspects of material culture in America, like the suburbs, those kinds of issues as they come up, and outline the components typically associated with the American literary tradition, as well as a few challenges that have been posed to that model, like whether we're still living in postmodernism or not. This course constitutes the second half of the American Literature Survey. There's a bunch of goals and objectives and course results in here. If those are important to you, you can go through them, but in the interest of keeping this as short and quick as possible, I'm not going to walk us through and read through every one of those. This class has an early warning program. For summer semester, that usually means the first week, and then somewhere around midterm, I will post your attending or non-attending, and that's usually in the first week or two, and then satisfactory or unsatisfactory progress. That'll be somewhere around midterm. How to prepare and participate. Even when we're not meeting via Zoom every single day, and we may not meet every Monday, every Wednesday, it's important to keep up. Based on my personal experience, as well as there's a ton of research that supports that the number one reason students don't succeed in online courses is they get behind, they feel overwhelmed, they get out of touch with the professor and out of step with the class, and they just give up. And I am begging you, please don't let that happen to you. If you feel lost, if you get behind, just get caught up. If you get behind and you lose and you miss a day or something like that, try to catch up. If you can't catch up, get in touch with me, and we'll figure out how we can help you, and just pick back up where you left off. Because of the way this course is designed, if you miss a reading or an assignment or something, it's okay. You can come back. Missing the exams and the research paper will hurt you, but the papers, as you will see, it's easier to miss those. Also, during class, and that means on Zoom or on email or whatever form class takes, any question about literature that you want to ask is fair game. No question is stupid. Please don't, about literature, about the historical and cultural context we're talking about, please don't hold back a question because you're afraid it will sound unsophisticated. A seemingly obvious question or comment can end up being really useful. And I want us to have an environment on Zoom and email electronically that's as productive and useful to everybody as possible. Some of this is for in-person classes and isn't relevant to us. Like, for example, we're not going to take any quizzes. I'm not going to give y'all any quizzes. That's just not productive to me for online classes. And I also suspect if you get behind, I'm going to know, and you're going to know. I'm not going to take attendance. As you see in that second bullet point right there, we're not going to worry about that for the summer for online with everything else that's going on in the world right now. Filming, recording, or photographing the professor, the class, the classroom, or any documents or people associated with the course without written permission is strictly prohibited. There is a slight addition to that. This course is obviously behind a protected wall because of D2L. There is a intellectual property issue, so please don't share any of the materials from this course outside of the course, just because of that the college's intellectual property interests and rights. The financial aid statement, this has to do with if you never show up, never turn in any work, those kinds of things. If you need disability accommodations, extended testing times, those kinds of things, be in touch with me and we can coordinate that. That should be less of an issue because we're online, but if it's an issue, be in touch with me and we'll make it work out however it needs to. The text and supplies for this course, you'll need a computer and an internet connection, obviously. Part of the reason that we're doing so much asynchronous content, videos, and not as much Zoom is because I want you guys to have as easy access as you can. There is typically a 3-book set for this class. The Norton Anthology of American Literature, Volume C. This is volume C right here. Volume C, D, and E. There's this one, this purple one. There is a red. Volume D is red, and it covers modernism, the early 20th century. And then Volume E is yellow. It has a swimming pool on the cover, and it covers postmodernism. Having said that, I have managed over the course of the past few weeks to find a link to, I believe, every text that we are going to read this semester, and they are in D2L, as you will see. So if you're struggling to get the books, you should be able to get through, if not all of the course, then most of it, with the online links that I have found and plugged into D2L. Readings and assignments, I've already basically said that. When we have Zoom sessions, please come prepared with any questions that you have, because a lot of the Zoom session will function and jump off of the questions that you have that I have forgotten to mention, things that stuck out to you. Any questions that you've got, please bring those when we have Zoom sessions. Email me and I can share that with other people, the questions that you have. If you've got a question, probably 5 other people in class have it too. You will also increase your vocabulary in this class by assimilating the concepts and the terminology that we're going to talk about. When I need to communicate with you outside of class time, which is going to be the majority of the time, I will do so via GHC email and D2L announcement. You'll mostly turn in work via GHC email. I'll mostly communicate with you via D2L and D2L announcement. When you turn work in, please, and this is this sentence right here, when you email work to me, it should be via email, and don't share documents with me. No Google Docs, no SharePoint docs. Send me your work as an email attachment. Any email, it says in the syllabus, any email containing a shared document will be deleted unread. I have not been as strict and harsh about that in the past few months, but please send me email attachments. And if you don't know the difference between attachments and shared documents, get with me and we will sort it out. Because there are a number of students every semester who think they're emailing me attachments and they are not. I'm gonna save a bunch of this stuff for the other video that goes over assignments. All of this stuff in this section of the syllabus is for in-person class, so we don't need to worry about that. Here's the grade breakdown for this class, and I'll go over that again in the other video. You're going to write 5 short 500 to 600 word response papers, a short research paper that's 900 words, 800, 900, 1,000 words. We're going to take 3 exams. They basically coordinate with the 3 books for the class, one for realism, one for modernism, and one for postmodernism, which is the final exam. And then participation in in-class assignments. That's probably going to matter less this semester. If you are active and participate in our Zoom sessions, I probably will be more likely to bump your grade up. Academic honesty and integrity. Plagiarism is academic dishonesty. That is relevant in this class in my experience, just because often students will read something for this class, feel like they don't have a good understanding of it, or sit down to write a paper and feel like they need some help, a little crutch. If you feel like you need help and my videos haven't helped you, and our Zoom discussion hasn't helped you, I just don't think it's realistic for me to tell you not to look up some help and a little bit of guidance. You need to be very, very careful that guidance doesn't find its way into your written assignments. You need to make sure that when you turn work in, it is your original work. If you turn in, to borrow another writer's words and ideas without proper acknowledgement is a form of dishonesty known as plagiarism. There should be no outside sources in anything you turn in this semester except for the research paper. So you should not need to cite anything. You should not have the influence of outside sources in anything you turn in at all this semester except for the research paper. By continuing to remain enrolled in this course, you're acknowledging your understanding of and agreement with the stuff that I just went over and with the syllabus. If we need to alter dates, material covered, or format, I'll try to notify you of that with appropriate time for you in advance. And then you can see on the syllabus we're going to start with Ambrose Bierce from the 1880s, 1890s, and then we're just going to move forward through time. Kay Chopin, Jack London, Upton Sinclair, James Weldon Johnson. We'll have our first exam on June 22nd, which will cover Realism, that first book, if you have the set of the books. And then we will jump into Modernism. We'll cover 5 modernist writers: Zora Neale Hurston, Frost, William Carlos Williams, Ernest Hemingway, and William Faulkner. And then we will take the second exam, the Modernism exam, and then the rest of the semester, all of July essentially, we'll cover Postmodernism, the third book, the Yellow Book. You can see on June 20th we will watch a movie. I've got that narrowed down to 2 different movies, and I will submit that before we get to July for sure. But it's something that's going to be available to you through the library. On the July 22nd, the research paper will be due, and then the final exam is July 29th at 11 a.m. Like I said, anytime we meet is going to be 11 a.m. And if that time conflicts with you and you can't be there, that's okay, because I'm going to record those Zoom sessions and I will post them as we go too. We won't have a Zoom session every day. That leads me into another important thing that I need to tell you, which is that we will not have any Zoom meetings on June 8th or June 10th. We won't meet for the first week of class. And that is because my wife is pregnant and will be giving birth on the first day of class, June 8th. And because of the hospital's restrictions, I can't leave the hospital until we leave to come home with the baby. I'm sorry, that's not an ideal way for us to start the summer semester, but there's nothing I can do about it. And if I left the hospital on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, I wouldn't be able to come back because of the hospital's restrictions. Because of that, all of our material is online for that first week. Videos, announcements, terminology explanations, everything. I will be available via email, and I'm gonna be as responsive and quick to get back with you as I can via email. jsullins@highlands.edu. This email address right here at the top. So if you've got questions, if you've got problems, get with me, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Just email me, just because I think that's going to be the most efficient way I can get back to you while I'm in the hospital. And then as soon as I can get out of the hospital, perhaps either that Friday the 12th, or we will definitely meet via Zoom that next Monday, which is the June 15th. So what I hope that means for you guys is that week of June 8th and June 10th, you just settle in with the course, look over the materials, dive into the videos that I've posted for you. And in fact, let me pull that up so you'll know what it looks like. You can see after syllabus and exams, I've got every day of the course set up in here. June 8th, June 10th, June 15th, June 17th, June 22nd, as if we were meeting in person in a classroom. And if you click on June 8th, you will see on June 8th, which would be our first day of class, I would spend half of that first class doing what we're doing right here in this video, going over the syllabus and the assignments, and then we would go over Ambrose Bierce's story and occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. Well, all right, here's the Ambrose Bierce response topic that you would write. That'll be one of your 5 options. Again, I'll go over that in the assignment video, the second half of this. But then, the second piece on here, the online text of an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge. So if you don't have a book yet, just click on here. Boom, there's the story. You can read it. You can see it's a short story with 3 sections right here. And then after that, here is the course video. If we met in class, my lecture over the video. You click on that, my YouTube video comes up. It's kind of weird to see your own self about to start talking here, but you can see here's my discussion. It's exactly half an hour going over the video, going over the story. So what you have right here is the response topic for the response paper if it's one of the ones you want to write, the online text for the story for that day, the course video for that day. The last thing that's on here that you need, that's necessary for you guys, is the terminology for this class. There's a short video. Ambrose Bierce is a realistic writer. He falls under that. And here's a video explaining one of the pieces of terminology, the first piece of terminology for this class, which is realism. I will go over the terminology in the assignment video, but if you scroll down, let's get down here to the course terminology heading here, you can see there's a listing of all the terms that we're going to use this semester, and the ones that I have plugged in a video for have a hyperlink to it that will also link you to that same video that will give you an explanation of that term to go along with the basic definition. That is everything that I can think of, I believe, to go over here with you. You can, like I said, if you scroll through D2L, you can see here's a syllabus and exams. Here are our days, starting with June 8th and ending with July 29th, which will just be the final exam. Here are our research paper guidelines and information, which is what we'll use for the research paper. Here's the course terminology, and I will also, before we take the exams, I will post short reviews to get you ready for those exams. And then here is also just a collected batch of the videos for this course, so they're accessible to you on that link and also in our day-by-day breakdown. Again, I'm sorry that I won't be able to go over all of this with you Monday, June 8th. But like I said, I will be in the hospital with my wife as she gives birth. But I will be available to you to answer any questions that you have over email. And I will have a second video to go with this, going over all the assignments and the work and the grades for this course. Again, if you've got questions, if you see this and you've got questions, get back with me and I'll answer everything I can for you. I hope that's helpful. I hope that's useful to you, not too boring. And I look forward to hearing from all of you and being in contact with all of you, whether that's Zoom or email or however it works out for you. Welcome to Summer 2020 American Literature, and I hope this is, although we're not going to be face to face, I hope this is a useful, happy experience for you guys.